Good morning, crew. This is Miss Polito, and I have a book to share that many of you might have already read, but I still think is a great book. Where the Wild Things Are, Story and Pictures by Morris and Dak. As we're reading our book today, I want you to think about what is your favorite part of the story. Because there's lots of great parts. It might be hard to choose. Where the Wild Things Are. We have all these flowers. Where the wild things are. Ooh. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made some mischief of one kind and another, his mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. So mischief is like trouble. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew. And grew. And grew until a ceiling hung with vines and the walls became a world all around. If you had an imagination world, what would your imagination world look like? Would it look like this or something different? And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through the night and day. And in and out of weeks, and almost over a year to where the wild things are. Do you see a wild thing in this picture? And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. Till Max said, "Be still," and tamed them with the magic trick of staring into their yellow eyes without blinking once, and they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all, and made him king of all the wild things. "And now," cried Max, "let the wild rumpus start." Ooh, I wonder what a wild rumpus is. Let's find out. There's dancing and hanging from trees. Ooh, and then they're marching. "Now stop," Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then all around from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat. So he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go. We'll eat you up. We love you so." And Max said no. The wild things roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws, but Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. And sailed back over a year and in and out of weeks and through a day and into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. Supper's like dinner. And it was still hot. And that is the end of our book. I hope you enjoyed it. And now we can write about the book that we just read and draw about it too. So our book is Where the Wild Things Are. So I'm gonna write my favorite my favorite part of the book was when, I don't know what my favorite part of the book was, but do you notice how I wrote on the bottom half so I can draw a picture of my favorite part when I figure it out? And let's try to find some of our sight words. I think we know my, the, was. So my favorite part of the book was when. Let's look back in the book and try to find a favorite part. And flipping through, oh, I see when Max is making some mischief. I don't know if I like that part. And then this is where Max is sent to his room. That made me kind of sad. But I liked when his room turned into a forest. So maybe that will be my favorite part. Ooh, and then he gets on a ship. Oh, I like sailing. That could be a good favorite part. Let's keep that in mind. And then he finds where the wild things are. That was very exciting. Do I want one of these pages? Oh, and then Max becomes king. That's pretty exciting. And this is the wild rumpus. You know what? I think the wild rumpus is my favorite part. And when I was your age, I liked climbing trees. So I think I want it to be this part of the story. So when the wild rumpus began. So my favorite part of the book was when, but how do I spell the wild rumpus? I'm gonna look back. And I think there's a part of the story. And now cried Max, let the wild rumpus start. So it was when when there was, let's look at wild rumpus. Wild rumpus. There was a wild rumpus. And you can also just sound it out or have a family member help you spell it, either one. So now I have my sentence. My favorite part of the book was when there was a wild rumpus. And I have was and two more of our sight words. And I'm now gonna get to draw a picture of the wild rumpus. But I wanted to base it off this illustration. Okay. And I'm gonna get some colored pencils, but you could do this with a pencil or crayons, a pen or markers or anything you have at home. So I see, I'm gonna draw Max's suit, and his suit is white, so I'm just gonna use the white paper. And so I see his arms are there, he has his little face there. Oh, and he has little whiskers too. Isn't that special? And then he has a yellow crown. That's very important because he's the king of the wild things. I can't forget that. He's king of the wild things. And then there's a branch. And the branch has a tree. I missed learning about trees with everyone. You were all becoming such experts. I was learning a lot from you. But there's our tree. And there's our other tree. Oh, and then I'm gonna do little claws coming over because he's the king of the wild things now. So he has some claws. And then I'll do this. He has this little wild I think he has his foot out like this. There he is, being a wild thing. I'm adding little buttons. And there's him being a wild thing. How fun. And then I want to look and see which wild thing I want to draw with him. I think I'm going to draw this wild bird. It's very scary. All right. I bet you guys don't think it's scary though. It's okay if you do. I'm drawing it like that. Big eyes. Ooh, and they have like something like that. Then there's the arm. Here's another arm. Oop, and I'm running out of space, but that's okay. Maybe something you could learn from me, so you can write further down. So there, and then we have, you can pretend you see the legs coming out. And we have there. And then I'm gonna color it in and add some details that help me know from the picture what's going on in the story. So what are some things I could add? I'm thinking I could add some of the bushes and some of the trees in the background, and also maybe some leaves. So I'm not gonna do all of that, but I'll add some leaves. See, got some leaves. And I bet you guys can do an even better job than I did. I did that very quickly. So there we go. We read where the wild things are, and then we got to do a writing project. We got to write, my favorite part of the book was when there was a wild rumpus, and we drew a picture. And you can write, my favorite part of the book was, about any book you're reading at home or any read aloud that's on this YouTube channel. All right, we miss you all, and we hope you have a great day.